The bus ride to Ibadan was long. Her heart thudded with every mile. The trees seemed to whisper as they passed, and the sky grew darker the closer she came to the old city. By the time she arrived at 12 Glover Street, the sun was gone, the house was still there. A quiet bungalow hidden behind a wall of overgrown hibiscus. The gate was rusted, the paint peeled. It looked forgotten. She knocked, no answer. She knocked again, louder, a voice croaked from into the house. "Who's asking?" "My name is Joy," she said. "Joy William." "My mother was Mary." Silence, then the door creaked open. A man in his late 60s stood there, face shadowed by a dusty fedora, his eyes widened. "Mary's child." "Yes," Joy said, tears brimming. "She tried to send you a letter. She needed your help." Ezekiel stepped back slowly. "Then it's true," he whispered. "The ritual was completed. You knew, I warned her. I warned him. That boy should never have been born. Please come inside." The dusty house smelled of old wood, dried leaves, and something forgotten like memories trapped in cobwebs. Ezekiel led Joy inside slowly, the creak of the door echoing in the quiet. "You should not have come here," Ezekiel said, his voice rough but tired. "This world you are stepping into is darker than you can imagine." Joy looked at him. "You knew what was happening to my family." He nodded slowly, eyes full of regret. "I was part of the secret priesthood sworn to guard families like yours. Families with ancient bloodlines connected to the spirits of the land, chosen to carry the sacred power through generations." Joy's heart pounded. "Why did you not stop him?" Ezekiel closed his eyes. "William was once our brother, a guardian. But greed and ambition poisoned him. He betrayed us all, sacrificed his wife, his honor, for power beyond any man's right." He turned to dark forces. "Yes. The blood he carries is not just blessing. It's a curse now. And David, the little boy, carries it the most." Joy swallowed hard. "Is there a way to stop it?" To save David, Ezekiel shuffled through piles of old papers and dusty relics, finally pulling out a heavy book bound in cracked leather, embossed with strange symbols that shimmered faintly in the low light. "This is the Book of Power. It contains rituals, ancient knowledge, and ways to break spiritual bonds." He handed the book carefully to Joy. "There is a ritual here that could sever David's connection to the dark bloodline." Joy opened the book. The pages were filled with strange drawings, strange words, and drawings of creatures half seen in shadows. Her fingers trembled. "But there is a price," Ezekiel warned. "What price?" "The ritual requires a sacrifice, one who loves the child most. It demands blood to balance the bond." Joy's mind raced. "You mean someone has to die?" Ezekiel nodded. "It is not just the child's life that hangs in the balance. It is the life of the one who performs the ritual." "Why would my mother write to you then?" "Because she knew what William was becoming. She hoped someone would stop him and save her daughters and her grandson." Joy's eyes filled with tears. "I have to try," she said. "Be careful," Ezekiel said, placing his hand on her shoulder. "William's power is not just in this world. The house protects him. If you fail, it will consume you." Joy felt the weight of the book heavy in her hands, the words almost burning her skin. She had no choice. The secrets of the past were now her burden. The fight for her family's soul had only just begun. Joy stood at the edge of the long, winding road that led to the mansion. The rusted gates loomed before her like the entrance to a grave. She clutched the old leather-bound book to her chest. Her heart was heavy. She had returned not for peace, but for war. The mansion hadn't changed. The tall pillars, the decaying fountain, the oppressive silence, but Joy had changed. She walked through the gates like a ghost, her footsteps echoing across the empty compound. The servants no longer spoke. Many had left. Some disappeared. Those who remained looked away when they saw her. The shadows felt thicker, the air heavier. She entered the house. That night, Joy locked herself in the hidden storeroom underneath the mansion. She placed the book on a stone table lit by a single candle and opened it to the page Ezekiel had shown her, "To sever the bloodline bound by spirit and flesh." It read, "One must break the cycle with blood born of love, not sin." She laid out the sacred tools, ashes from her mother's prayer shawl, a thread from David's favorite blanket, the crushed seeds of bitter cola, and finally, a drop of her own blood, freely offered. She walked in secret for days, preparing the circle. The house groaned above her, as if it felt her betrayal. Each night she heard strange noises, footsteps where there was no one, whispers in rooms she hadn't entered, cold winds that blew without open windows. One morning, David ran to her with a drawing. "I drew you in a fire," he said with innocent eyes. Joy froze. The picture showed her inside a circle, flames around her, and above what looked like her mother's face, weeping. "Did anyone tell you about that?" she asked. "No," David said. "The dream drew it for me." He handed her another. It showed Mary, surrounded by shadowy figures, a man's hand reaching toward her with fire in his palm. A ring on the hand. A scar on the wrist. It was Mr. William. Joy's breath caught in her throat. It was true. The dream she'd had in Ibadan wasn't fantasy, it was memory passed to her in spirit. That night, Joy lay in bed and dreamed of her mother again. She saw Mary in the study, begging her husband not to go through with it. "They are your daughters, William," Mary had cried. "It is an abomination," but William, calm and cold, replied. "You don't understand. The bloodline must continue. If the gods ask for a sacrifice, I will give it." Mary's scream echoed, her body burned from within. The next morning, they buried her quietly. The world was told she died in her sleep. Joy awoke sobbing, trembling. The truth crushed her. Inspector Yinka's return. 3 days later, Inspector Yinka arrived. He stood at the door with a folder under his arm and concern written on his face. Grace greeted him nervously. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "My father doesn't like visitors." "I just need to see something," he replied. As he walked inside, the house seemed to exhale. Joy found him later in the study, opening a drawer she never knew existed. Inside, old photographs of ritual markings, the vanished midwives' names, and a hand-drawn version of the secret book. "You don't understand what you've stepped into," Joy said, stepping into the room. "Help me understand," Yinka replied. "No," she said softly, stepping close. "This house watches. My father will return soon. If he finds you, he won't let you leave. Please go." He hesitated. "Please go. And if I survive what's coming, I'll find you." He nodded, reluctantly, and slipped out the back gate. It was the last time she saw him. Joy lit the candles in the storeroom. She drew the symbols with chalk soaked in blood and herbs. The flame from the beeswax candles flickered as if unsure whether to stay lit or abandon her. David slept upstairs, unaware. Grace sat in her room, staring out the window, tears silently falling. The house held its breath. The great doors creaked. William stepped in, his eyes glowing faintly golden. "So," he said quietly, walking down the stairs. "The rebellious daughter returns." Joy stood inside the ritual circle. "It ends tonight," she said. "You think a book and candles can stop a bloodline anointed by the spirits of the earth? You murdered my mother." William smiled. "She was weak, and Grace. She enjoyed me in bed. Your own daughter. You made her bear your son." "Shut up, Joy. She obeyed me. You are the mistake." The house began to shake. Windows shattered, the air turned black. "The sacrifice." Joy lit the final candle. "I give my blood freely," she whispered. "Let it break the chain." A great wind blew. The candle flames burned tall and white. The circle glowed. Mary's spirit appeared beside her, eyes full of pain and pride. "Finish it," Mary whispered. William screamed, charging toward the circle, but the light swallowed him. He roared as the shadows turned on him. His body twisted, bones snapping, until he was dragged into the floor, swallowed by the bloodline he tried to preserve. Silence fell. The next morning, the mansion stood silent. David woke, smiling for the first time. Grace found Joy lying in the ritual circle, unconscious but breathing. She cried over her sister, whispering thanks. The curse had ended. The mansion was emptied. The remaining servants left. The portraits were burned. Peace at last. They buried Mary properly, under a tree. Joy visited her grave with David and Grace every year. They moved far away and started their lives again. David grew strong and kind. Grace found laughter again. Joy lived quietly, never speaking of the house, but every now and then, she dreamed of their mother Mary, and her dreams, at last, were filled with peace. Evil done in secret will always come to light. Family should be a place of love, not manipulation. Silence in the face of evil allows evil to grow. Power without conscience is dangerous. The truth may be painful, but it brings freedom. A cursed foundation cannot build a peaceful future. Spiritual matters should not be taken lightly. Food for thought. What are we protecting in our families? Love or legacy? How far would you go to break a generational curse? Thank you so much for watching this story. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If this story touched you, shocked you, or left you thinking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep and powerful stories like this. Let others hear what you've heard today. See you in the next video and bye for now.